Здорово, здорово всем. Начинаем новую серию. Нам надо выбраться из участка. Тут менеджеру позвонили недавно. Че, нас отпустится? Легко или нелегко? Опа, челик спит. Ой.
A writer is a light that reveals the world of his story from darkness, shapes it from nothingness. The way a sculptor carves a statue from a block of granite. If I stop, the world I'm making dies. Darkness will reclaim it. It's a long, hard journey into the dark. Alice's life is at stake, but I can't think about that, or I'll lose it. The dread lingers at the edge of perception. I'll push on. Anything is possible here. I'll write the story. I'll save her.
Marvelous, Sarah. I just wanted to settle all the damage the Anderson brothers might have inadvertently caused on their recent and regrettable little outing. They are not accountable for their actions, of course. I can assure you that my staff has been reprimanded.
Tor and Odin never caused any trouble to anyone when they were still living at their farm.
Indeed. All we can do is to slow down the progress of their dementia.
Are you feeling any better, Mr. Wake?
I'd like to leave. Am I free to go?
Well, we still need to talk about...
Am I under arrest?
No, of course not. But I need to know where you'll be staying so I can get in touch with you.
I'd avoid the motel. The Majestic is known for its roaches. The cabins at Elderwood are pretty nice, though.
That sounds perfect.
I'm Dr. Emil Hartman. I'd like to invite you to stay at Cauldron Lake Lodge.
Did you talk to my wife?
I had the pleasure of discussing your situation with her on several occasions.
Did you set something up with her?
I invited her here. My clinic is a place where...
Oh, hey! Oh, my!
Take it easy.
Hey, nobody move! Get your hands off of my client!
Who are you?
I'm Barry Wheeler, his agent. If you have business with Mr. Wake, you talk to me. You yokels won't know what hit you once I sick my lawyers on your asses.
No harm done, Sarah. I'm all right. I don't want to press charges. Mr. Wake, my offer still stands.
Get me out of here.
What the hell was that about, Al? We don't need a replay of that thing with the paparazzi. I thought they were gonna lock you up.
I had to talk to someone. I told Barry everything. He thought I was certifiable, but when he heard about the manuscript, I had him. The fact that I'd written something, even if I couldn't remember it, was enough for him. He smelled money. And he believed that Alice had been kidnapped. Anything beyond that was another story. I had a midnight appointment with the kidnapper in a place called Lover's Peak, somewhere in Elderwood National Park. The plan was to rent a cabin.
I don't like it, Al. I don't like any of it. It's not good. In fact, it's the absolute opposite of good.
Mr. Wake! Barry, you found him!
Hi, Rose.
Oh, wow, I was just thinking about you, too.
Great.
I was just bringing Rusty some coffee. He's on the balcony, looking after Max. Poor thing. I really need to go. Great to see you again, Mr. Wake. Later!
Who's Max?
What an airhead.
Jeez, Mr. Takes a swing at everybody. This is not her fault. She's a very nice girl and, more importantly, a fan.
Так чё, Алан Вейк сошел с ума и лежит в больничке сейчас у этого чела? Да его жена упекла. А он тут понапридумал. Или это половина правда, половина неправда, или что? Интересно, интересно.
Seriously, Al, what you were saying in the car? Just listen to yourself. What, you shot a guy and his body just disappeared? When was the last time you slept? Are you high? Have you been drinking?
No! Look, Barry, I'm missing a week, and someone's got Alice.
Do you
and
understand what it sounds like when you say stuff like that? Don't get me wrong, it's a good story, could be a bestseller. But when you start confusing fiction with reality, you're buying yourself a ticket to the funny farm.
Wait here.
О, Кухня почти чистая. О, аптечка. Понял.
Easy there, boy. I'm almost done.
Hey, Rusty, right? You rent cabins.
Oh, Mr. Wake. I'd shake your hand, but mine are kind of full here. Actually, I'm sorry about this. Would you mind grabbing the registration form from the desk? It's just across from Bucktooth Charlie.
Okay, sure.
Это что-то
What
собачка, которая потерялась.
Crazy poachers. Max here got his foot caught in a trap. They're illegal to use here. Hell, you're not supposed to hunt within the park at all. But that doesn't stop some lowlifes. Well, at least Max is gonna be okay. You got lucky.
Ништяк.
Max is still groggy from the shot I gave him, and I'd rather not leave him alone just yet. The form's on the desk across from the mammoth skeleton.
Seriously, Al, you can't just go and meet a kidnapper. Those situations always end up in disaster. You gotta talk to the cops.
She's my wife, and it's my call. Can we talk about this later?
No, this whole thing. Listen, you hit your head. I mean, geez, Al, come on. You gotta understand how crazy all this sounds. If you're trying to pull a joke on me, freak me out, it's working. Ha ha, let's have a laugh on Barry. Well, you had me going there real funny, Al. You can quit it now.
I think this is the form you wanted.
And here are the keys. Okay, you're all set, Mr. Wake. Glad to have you staying here.
Thanks. Can you tell me how to get to Lover's Peak?
Oh, sure. It's at the end of the nature trail. Just follow the paths, you'll get to it eventually. It's an easy walk. Nice spot, too. If you have any trouble finding it, just keep your eyes on the radio mast. It's right below that. Oh, and hey, if you take a walk in the woods, watch your steps so you don't end up like Max. I guess I'm a little worried. We got a bunch of campers out there we haven't heard from. It's not like these people are on a schedule, but with the traps, well, you know. I just don't want any trouble.
Right, thanks.
Ну, Максу выздоровлений надо пожелать. Пойдемте дальше. Вышка, да, я понял, да, вышка. Под вышкой.
Look, Al, you're asking me to believe that you shot a dude who went poof into thin air, a guy who was bulletproof until you pointed a flashlight at him. You hear that from people who end up spending time in padded rooms, strapped to their beds, wearing white shirts with too long tangled up sleeves, and eating a healthy diet of pills. Al, you make cruel jokes about people who believe that kind of stuff. You're the skeptic. You gave me an hour-long lecture on homeopathy last month. What was it? If there's no proof, it's pure bullshit. Period.
Guess the laugh's on me then.
Al, come on! I mean, okay. Okay, maybe something weird happened to you, okay?
Well, thanks for the heartfelt vote of confidence.
All I'm saying is you gotta throw me a bone here, bestseller. What would you think if it was me? There's no way you should be going out at midnight with a gun.
No one asked you to come here, Barry. Either work with me on this or go straight back to New York. Your choice.
Скелет колумбийского мамонта. Там 14 тысяч лет. Талисман нормальный такой. Так, тут ничего нет вроде.
That's just crazy talk, Al. Al? Al? We should go to the sheriff or call the FBI.
Damn it, Barry, they'll kill her! This is not a goddamn debate, Barry. I'm going to Lover's Peak. He said to come alone.
Okay then. I understand. You're my best friend, and I'm worried that you're not right in the head. Tell me what to do to help, and I'll do it.
You stay here, and if I'm not back by morning, call the cavalry.
Achoo! Achoo! Just be careful with the natives, Al. These yokels are dangerous. Everybody hates a tourist, or it'll be deliverance all over again. Achoo!
Bless you.
Oh, this place is trying to kill me. I'll bet there's mold in here, spores, poison ivy, God knows what. This is so not worth a 15% commission.
Опять ночь.
You wanna know where you can shove that flashlight?
Ну да. Не, ну графоний прям четкий, мне нравится. На ремастере постарались. В оригинал-то я не играл, конечно, но подтянули знатно игру. И не требует много. И выглядит красиво. Так, свет лучше включать, да? А,
Real
стоп.
funny, Al. Real funny. Ha-ha! Thank you. I'll just sit here in the dark till you come back. Or until I get eaten by a grue.
Ну, это ж надо. Ну, вроде больше... О, это свет уже делаем. Вроде ничего нет больше. Похититель... Ну, похититель, ну, не знаю. Это ж 2 глава. Не будет всё так просто. К сожалению. Я так думаю. Ну, что нам остается? Фига. Че, на туре дверь закрыть? Да, я так. Ну, умно. И свет лучше не включать, как мы поняли. Вон что-то. Листочек. О, пистолет. Только пистолет. Ну, револьвер. Почитаем.
Barry had never gotten along with Alice, but he knew Alan loved her with an almost frightening intensity. And now something had happened to Alice. And here was Al armed with a gun and saying things people got put in padded cells for. It was as if his friend had experienced a massive psychotic episode and was now totally disconnected from reality. It scared the shit out of Barry.
Ну да, напуган. Тут явно нездоровая канитель какая-то. А чё в тачке?
Barry had the keys to the car he rented. Wasn't a long walk to the visitor center, and it wouldn't be any use to me in the forest.
Ну, я думал, что полезное тут будет. Ну, тачка крутая. Прям, да. Проверка.
I knew I should have gone to the cops. This wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done, but I was still angry with Barry for trying to talk me out of it. These people had called me right in the sheriff's station. The cops wouldn't scare them, and they had Alice.
Страшно. Да ладно. Ну тут закрыт, наверное. Может, термос ставим или нет? Вау, открыто тут. Охереть. О, то, что надо.
Welcome back to the show, folks. As promised, our very own Dr. Nelson has just parked his rear end in the studio. Doc, what's your Deerfest plan like?
My plan? You make it sound a lot more organized than I ever seem to manage. No plan, really. Just taking the atmosphere. I'm getting a little too rickety to do much more than that, you know.
Oh, tell me about it. No sack race for us older gentlemen, huh?
Yes, exactly, Bat. But I'm gonna check out the parade, of course. And I'll be one of the pie contest judges, too.
Well, that takes a different kind of constitution.
Oh, yeah, it's my kind of exercise.
Now, Doc, seriously, you're in pretty good shape, though. You're the outdoors type. I know for a fact you're an avid fisherman.
That's right. Matter of fact, just caught a heck of a largemouth bass early this morning.
But you're not taking part in the fishing contest?
No, not this year. See, Pat, I'm just not that competitive anymore. Now I just like to take my time and enjoy the peace of it. It's no fun if I need to worry about what I'm catching, you know?
Well, considering your track record, the participants are probably pretty happy you feel that way.
Well, Pat, that's kind of you to say.
Это тот чел, кто нас с утра подлатал. Опа! Фух, чел за окном напугал. Блин, падла. Конечно, вот тут нет уж. Ну да, давайте, пугайте меня. Че, приступы, походу, опять? Или что? Сейчас повылазят черти. Но в дома нужно заходить, как мы поняли. Лутать их. Нельзя. Ладно, в большой дом. Ох, пнуть даже. Что-то тут подгорело, да. Сейчас телек посмотрим, по кайфу. Тут не повезло. Опять научные теории.
The cancer and cure of civilization. But some crimes are impossible to punish, especially in Night Springs. Tonight's episode, The Man in the Mirror.
He's inside, Agent. He's a weird one.
So, you're confessing to killing that guy, huh? Why?
Had it coming?
Yeah, but why would you do that? I mean, you're a nice guy. Normal. Took your kid to a soccer game. So how come at the game, you pick a guy and, quoting from the arresting officer's report here, assault the victim's head area repeatedly with the weapon of choice being a pair of bare fists? Wow, that sentence really flows, huh? Maybe you're not the literary type. Okay, so you mess him up. But why? Who was that guy? We couldn't ID him. Why would a guy like you do him like that?
I didn't like his face?
Well, you must have hated it, because you really went to town there. I mean, there's no way to tell what he looked like. No ID on him either.
That must be difficult.
But then we ran the fingerprints. Got a match. Your prints. Identical.
Huh, how about that?
Your son said you were wearing a white shirt when you took him to the game. But the white shirt is on the dead guy.
It's plenty red now.
You won't get away with this.
Do you really think that's in any way relevant to me? I had plenty of time to talk to my boy before the cops arrived, you know? He won't stop screaming, am I right? You think he's ever gonna be okay? I left my mark. Believe me.
You bastard.
What? You gonna shoot me? What's the point? I'm going to prison. You got me?
I don't understand any of this.
And you never will. Maybe you'll see me again, Agent. Maybe in the mirror.
Ну все, теперь в зеркало не смотрим никогда. Хе-хе. Так, ладно, продолжаем. Тут интересная тема, кстати. Че он сгорел-то? Ворон туда, да, дамажили, кстати. Когда мы в дом туда бежали. Еще в начале. Так, что... тачка. Ой, опять не нравится мне здесь. О, дробовик. Пуля. Не? Показался. Сорян. Ну, почитаем.
The air in the visitor center was heavy with an awful smell, as if some rotten drowned thing had crawled up from its grave. Rusty kept coughing blood. My eyes were drawn to the twisted shape of his broken leg. The attack had been vicious. Max whined in his cage. Rusty's eyes were wild with fear and terror. He gasped. Mr. Wake, it happened just the way it was on that page.
То есть это сейчас случится? Челик сломает ногу и собака будет скулить. Макс, собака Макс. Подожди, это может... это стоп, это уже было, получается. Нет? Собака-то уже в капкане была, получается. И тут челик уже погиб, скорее всего. Нет.
The vision left me weak. This was no head injury. Rusty, damn.
Rusty, hang on! I'm coming! Please, help me!
Блин, это чё? Реклама. Все-таки это случится. Да где? Туда? Я бегу. Что-то раз. Где? Ты? Блин, я про мини-карту забыл. Но мини-карта и ведет-то неправильно, походу. Ну как неправильно? Отвлекает от страничек.
The visitor center was sturdy, but the impact turned the front of the building into splinters. Rusty was thrown across the lobby like a rag doll and hit the far wall hard. It didn't hurt until he tried to move and saw his leg bend the wrong way. Felt the broken ribs stabbing him on the inside. Rusty howled in pain and fear, suddenly afraid to die alone.
Да, после паузы черный экран еще что-то возникает. Ну ладно, давай.
The ranger's office was locked. I'd need a key to get in.
Понял. Нет, ни хера. Где-то.
Hello?
А вот он.
Back here. I'm back here.
Mr. Wake?
Oh, hell.
It happened just the way it was on that page. I found. Came true. It knew. So dark. It'll come back for me. You must... The lights. In the office. I have the key.
Okay, Rusty. Hang on. I'll be right back. Whatever did this couldn't be far. Rusty had found a page from the manuscript. It would help me understand what had happened.
Может, ему пистолет ставить? А Макс нельзя?
Good boy.
Может ему пистик оставить или все-таки взять? Ну там 6 пуль. Ладно. А что тут аптечка есть? Я не знаю, что он. Нет, нельзя. Ну, все-таки да, пойдем открывать. Сейчас кто-нибудь вылезет. Но он нашел листочек, походу, тот, который я только что читал. Прочитал его, и это случилось. Да уж.
The only way to make sure that Rusty was safe was to get the power running and the lights back on.
Да, понимаю. Так, ничего тут нет. Что дальше будет? Ничего хорошего.
At the last instant, I changed direction and threw myself down. The axe splintered the trunk of a tree. I stumbled into the pool of bright light. My lungs burned. I was too exhausted to move. I tensed as I waited for the killing blow, but it never came. I raised my head. Nothing moved in the darkness beyond. For the moment, bathed in the cold light.
То есть я включу свет, челик нападет, но так как включен свет, челик мне ничего не сделает. Я правильно понял? Ну, я так понял, еще батарейки можно не экономить, так как они с каждой головы обнуляются, в принципе.
I was too late. Someone had destroyed the circuit breaker. There was no way to get the lights back on.
Да, ё...
Rusty! Rusty! The ground was covered with oily patches that looked like liquid darkness.
Hunters need hunting licenses.
Something had torn a mammoth-sized hole in the wall.
А мама тут стоит.
Please don't feed the animals.
Где это падла?
Fishing is only permitted for those visitors who purchase a park fishing license. Obey.
Опа. Типа босс?
Rusty? Rusty, no! Never approach closer than 100 yards. Two bears and wolves never approach any other wildlife.
Так это и Расти.
Pets must be.
Блин. Расти превратился.
Leave your pet unattended.
Вот он. Вот он.
It is against the law. Remove any natural objects or historical artifacts from the park grounds.
Пулефул.
This includes even rocks. You may or even simple berries.
Блин, не успел. Ждем, ждем, ждем. Заряжаемся. Ладно, батарейка. Да и... Вот хрен за ним успеешь. Слева. Вот. Надо было стрелять, получается. Ну, шустрый прям вообще. Ладно, сейчас позарядимся, постреляем. Ух, поймал. Да, это было жестко. Что это? Блин. Опа. Не-не-не. Блин, а чё пуль не было? Офигеть. За пулями такое. За пулями не уследил, что-то с этим фонариком. Но пуль прям щедро отсыпается, это хорошо. Наверное. Что-то большое. Так, ладно, давайте в следующей серии увидимся. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Давайте.